welcome to our channel. Let's start a movie recap. The movie begins in a vast, barren desert, where we are introduced to Wyndham, a professional photographer. He had come to this remote location to capture breathtaking images of the solar eclipse. As the day progressed, he successfully clicked numerous photographs and decided to leave before nightfall. However, as he started walking back, he noticed a young boy crying alone in the middle of the desert. Curious and concerned, Wyndham approached the child and asked, "Why are you crying?" The boy, with tears in his eyes, replied, "I am lost." Hearing this, Wyndham felt a sense of responsibility and asked the boy to come along with him. However, the boy pointed in the opposite direction and said, "My parents are over there." Despite his reluctance, Wyndham decided to follow the boy. As they moved deeper into the desert, Wyndham began to suspect something was wrong. He tried stopping the boy, telling him there was no one in that direction, but the boy ignored him and continued walking. When Wyndham attempted to physically stop him, the boy suddenly turned around, gave him an eerie smile, and sprinted away, disappearing into the vast emptiness. Realization struck Wyndham like a bolt of lightning. This child had lured him into the desert on purpose. Panic set in as he tried retracing his steps, but the desert was vast, and he had lost his way. The sun dipped below the horizon, and soon, the cold night winds started to bite into his skin. Desperately, he searched for shelter and, after wandering for a while, spotted a house nestled at the base of a rocky hill. As he approached the house, he noticed a woman standing nearby. A staircase led down to the entrance, and with no other option, he descended the stairs and entered. The woman, named Alina, was inside but exhibited an unsettling demeanor. Despite seeing a stranger enter her home, she remained unbothered, neither questioning nor reacting to his presence. Wyndham hesitantly introduced himself. "I lost my way in the desert. Can I stay here for the night?" Alina did not respond immediately but, after some time, gestured towards the table, offering him food. Wyndham found this odd but sat down nonetheless. However, his instincts screamed at him, and he refrained from eating. Later, Alina silently pointed him toward a room where he could sleep. As he settled in, he caught a glimpse of Alina changing clothes through a crack in the door before drifting into an uneasy sleep. The next morning, Wyndham woke up and hurriedly went to the staircase, only to find that it had vanished. The area that once provided an exit was now surrounded by towering rock formations, making escape impossible. Panic surged through him as he rushed back inside and demanded answers from Alina. "Where is the staircase?" "It was here yesterday," he exclaimed. Without much emotion, Alina simply stated, "They must have removed it after you arrived." Confused and frustrated, he asked, "Who are they?" But Alina offered no response and continued her daily chores as if nothing had happened. Determined to escape, Wyndham found a climbing hammer in the house and decided to scale the rocky walls. As he climbed, exhaustion took over, and he paused to rest. Suddenly, the eerie sound of children's laughter echoed above him, and before he could react, a severed goat's head dropped from above. Shocked, he lost his footing and plummeted back to the ground, hitting his head and blacking out. That night, Wyndham awoke in excruciating pain. His climbing hammer had embedded itself in his leg. He screamed in agony, his cries echoing in the desolate place. Moments later, Alina arrived, wordlessly removed the hammer, and dragged him back inside. Over the next few days, Wyndham grew increasingly desperate. He demanded to know who was preventing him from leaving, but Alina remained silent. One day, he saw a boy standing atop the cliffs. Seizing the opportunity, Wyndham pleaded for help and asked the boy to bring a rope. The boy hesitated but eventually agreed. After a while, he returned with a rope and tossed it down. Wyndham, seeing hope for the first time, secured the rope around his waist and began climbing. As he ascended, Alina stood by the window, watching in silence. Just as Wyndham reached the halfway point, A group of children emerged. One of them urinated on him while the others violently shook the rope. Wyndham begged Alina for help, but before she could intervene, he lost control, slammed against the rocky walls, and lost consciousness. When he awoke, a dreadful realization dawned upon him: he might never escape. He started piecing things together and suspected that Alina herself had once been trapped, forced to make this place her home. However, the children who tormented him never attempted to kill him. Instead, they ensured he had food to survive, prolonging his captivity. In a desperate attempt to adapt, Wyndham began growing vegetables in the barren land, hoping to sustain himself. One day, a child named Leps curiously asked, "What are you doing?" Wyndham saw an opportunity. "I'm growing food. I can teach you if you want," he offered. Leps hesitated but eventually nodded. Over time, Wyndham gained his trust. Seizing the moment, he asked, "Leps, if you help me escape, I will teach you everything." Fear flashed across Leps' face. "I can't." "Not while they are around, but maybe when they are gone." Alina, overhearing their conversation, remained silent. However, another child had also eavesdropped and, in fury, dragged Leps away. That night, over dinner, Alina revealed something shocking as she was pregnant. Wyndham was taken aback. "This is your doing. You seduced me," he accused. Alina, calm yet firm, replied, "This was the fault of both of us." The following morning, Wyndham woke to the sound of Alina's screams. Rushing outside, he froze in horror. Leps' lifeless body hung from a rope, swaying in the wind. The children had killed him for trying to help. Alina wailed, "My son." The revelation hit Wyndham like a ton of bricks. Leps was her child. Blinded by rage, Alina turned to Wyndham. "This is your fault," she screamed before striking him unconscious. When he awoke, he found himself locked inside a cage. For 9 long months, Wyndham was reduced to an animalistic state. Though Alina provided food, she showed no affection. Finally, one night, Alina went into labor. In unbearable pain, she had no choice but to free Wyndham and beg for help. Moments later, she gave birth to a baby girl. Seeing his daughter, Wyndham briefly considered staying, but his hopes were crushed when the children suddenly appeared. Before he could react, they slit his throat, killing him instantly. As Alina cradled her newborn, the children stood beside her. "Mother, we did as you asked," they said in unison. It was then revealed that all these children were Alina's. Before Wyndham, she had seduced many men, bearing children who eventually became the captors of the next unfortunate soul. As time passed, Alina lovingly cared for her daughter. She whispered, "One day, you will take my place." Meanwhile, Wyndham's lifeless body lay abandoned in the desert, his existence erased like all those before him. And with that, the eerie tale came to